I'm John Denner from Mazda, and you're watching SpeedSource TV.
So looking at the center of the dash, obviously we've got quite a few more switches. It's a little bit more complicated here. Just to run through it quickly, we've got the ignition switch. We turn that on, and that fires up all the electronic systems on the car so that we're ready to start it. We've got our starter button. All we've got to do is push that and hold it until the car cranks, and away we go. Big yellow switch is our reserve switch. It's really important during the race. If we run out of gas, we can flick that, and we generally get 1 to 2 laps of reserve on the fuel. So when we run out of gas, we're not completely stranded on the course. We can turn the reserve on, and at the very least, we can get back to the pits so we can keep going in the race. We've got headlights, we've got high beams, we've got a wiper switch so that if it's longer periods of rain, I don't just use the wiper button. I can just flick it on and leave the wipers going back and forth. And a defroster. To the right, we've got the power steering trim, which is a pretty cool little feature. The car uses electronic power steering, and what this switch allows us to do is vary the amount of assist that we get in the steering rack. So I can even turn the switch off or on. Off is pretty much undrivable. The car has so much grip in the Pirelli tires that off, you really just can't turn the steering wheel. So as we get tired or if it gets hotter, we can turn the trim up and make it easier. The downside is you have a bit less feel. Here we have the pump out switch, which isn't something that as a driver we use. The mechanics use that so that they can pump the fuel out of the car. It just cycles the fuel pumps. Right below that, we have the map switch. What that does is it allows us to alternate between 3 different maps in the ECU. We have our high speed map, we have our normal, fuel conservation mode, and then we have our yellow flag map. And we can alter our speed and our fuel consumption based on what we need in the race, whether we're qualifying or racing, whether we need to make a long run to the end of the race, or whether it's just a short dash. That switch is really useful and something we use a lot during the races as part of our pit strategy. To the left, we've got the brake bias switch. We can actually alter how much braking force goes to the front or rear of the car based on which way we turn that switch. And then down below, we've got our helmet blower. I use that one a lot, especially when it's hot. It gets really hot inside the car, especially with the exhaust inside here with us. That allows us to turn that on, get a little bit of air conditioning into the helmet. By air conditioning, I mean 95 degrees instead of 120, but hey, we'll take what we can get. Down here, we've got the radio system for the car. I've got a volume switch and I can change my channels. It's not the radio like Sirius XM or anything like that, but I can talk to the crew, they can talk to me. We can switch to different channels if we have any issues. Right here, we've got the shifter. The transmission in the car is a sequential shift gearbox. Basically, instead of an H pattern left and right and selecting gears, we just go up and down through the gears, pulling back towards me to go up gears and pushing away to go down gears. So here we've got a lot of safety equipment in the car to keep us safe in the event of an accident. As you can see, we've got quite a bit of window nets to keep debris from coming in the window. The first one is our main window net. Its purpose is to keep big pieces of debris out of the window and out of our way inside of the car. The next net that we have here, our left side helmet net, is a new net for this year. It's basically put right next to the seat to keep our head from moving too far to the side in the event of a serious accident. So I can take this net down. As we come inside the car, you can see that we've got a seat with really high bolsters, holds us in here very tight. It's comfortable, it keeps us from moving around at high speed, but it's also very safe in the event of an accident. We've got our seat belts, not like your standard road car. It's a 6-point belt, so we've got 2 belts coming up through the seat, up through our legs. We've got 1 belt on each side on our lap, and 2 belts over our shoulders. Normally when we're sitting in the car, we've got a helmet on and a Hans device on. The Hans device fits underneath the belts, and it keeps our head from moving too far forward in the event of an accident. These belts look like they're pretty complicated and a bit of a nuisance, but trust me, they work. I think Nick Ham and I can both attest to that fact. We've both been on our roof. These belts, they hold you nice down in place, and you just wish you could keep going racing. So I can take the belts off by just twisting, and you see they all fire out of the way so we can get out of the car quickly. They're all on bungees, so that way we don't get caught up when we go to get out of the car or into the car. Moving to the right, we've got another new addition for this year. The right side helmet net serves the same purpose as the left side in case there's an accident where I'm forced to one side or the other. just keeps my head and body from moving too far to the right side of the car. It also has a quick release. We can pull right here and get out in case I need to make a speedy exit left or right. So that's it for our tour of the '69 car. Thanks for tuning in for this week's SpeedSource TV, and I hope to see you again next time.